How we all doing? It's good. Good to hear if you're all right. I want to make this short. Think I'm starting to get another wave of flu or whatever it was, whatever it is going around. It's feeling good for about a day and a half. And now I'm just starting to go back downhill. Ain't no fun. Anyway, I wanted to brag about something. I, my waka. Anyway, I wanted to brag a little bit. I know a guy that knows a guy. Long story, long story short, I needed both wheel bearings put into my Ford. There were a few garages that I know locally that were wanting to charge anywhere from $600 to $800 to put one wheel bearing in. And that was just one. I'm sitting back looking at that going, really, dude? You want to charge me $600 to $800 for one wheel bearing? Are you freaking nuts? It's a wheel bearing. And they were going off, well, it's $154 for the part at O'Reilly's, AutoZone, whatnot. They said we might be able to get it as low as $89 for one part. Which, parts nowadays, I can kind of believe it just because parts are expensive. It's not like going down to the general store and getting penny candy. Well, anyway, excuse me. I know a guy. Him and his family have known him for, golly, since 2010. 12 years now. Well, the guy that I know is a pastor of a church. His son, I've known since he was in high school. And his son and one of his friends opened up a garage called NBS Garage. NBS. They're at 1700 First Avenue, North Fargo. And that is North Dakota, y'all. Anyway, I went there, told him, I said, I need the passenger wheel bearing put in. Had no idea at the time the driver's side was bad. No idea. So they brought it in. It went in Wednesday evening. They had it there all day Thursday. Going front to back, bumper to bumper, basically. Looking to see if it had anything else that was going wrong or needed my attention within 6 or 8 months. Well, the only thing they found was lower ball joints need to be put in. So I asked him, I said, and then he comes up and goes, well, you're going to need lower ball joints, and you have to have both wheel bearings put in. He says, the driver's side is far worse than the passenger side. And he said the passenger side is in horrible, horrible shape. So I said, well, between that and between the wheel bearings and lower ball joints, what am I looking at for price? And I'm thinking $1,500, $1,800. He looks at me and goes, well, can you squeeze out $775? And we can do lower ball joints and wheel bearings. I was sitting back going, if you're going to charge me that for all that, I said, how much are wheel bearings? He says, parts, labor, tax, you're down the road. He says, $354, and we'll have both of them installed. I'm looking at that going, how on earth can you even keep your doors open if you're going to charge me $354 to have two wheel bearings put on a 95 Ford Explorer? And he's like, well, let me tell you about it. Long story short, they not only own the place, but they're the only two mechanics. He says, we're paying ourselves to do the automotive work. On top of that, he says, we rent the place. He said, our rent is appropriate for the space we have, but they've got enough to fit 4 vehicles, 3 of which can be worked on a rack. The 4th one will just drive in, but they can't rack it. Well, I ended up doing the wheel bearings to start off because that needed the most work. It needed to be done right away. Wasn't drivable without it. I've got roadside assistance for on my insurance. I had them come and get it. Even, it's $100 bill. They had to flatbed it over. That's what they were doing with the trucks and SUVs. So I went, okay, tow it in. It's going to be $100 bill. That's $100 bill I can't afford to spend right now. So I'm like, okay, call roadside assistance. My insurance is going to probably go up. Probably $5 or $7, $8 a month, but at least I can stretch it out a little bit. And yes, it's worth having roadside assistance, y'all. I go through State Farm, and I pay $5 a month for roadside service. Or roadside assistance, whatever they call it. $5 a month. And they towed it out of my driveway to the garage. Yeah, it's gonna cost $100, but well worth it. Anyway, I asked him, I said, if I want to do lower ball joints at a later time due to money issues, how much? What am I looking at for price? He says, whatever the difference, he told me, and it was whatever the difference was between $775 and $354. I just don't remember the exact price right now. So he says, we can do that at a later time. But you're going to want it done before summer. Okay. Big boy can round up, worst case scenario, I'll round up $360. Have it done, no big deal. What I make at the antique store, I'll just selling rings and that. I'll just go ahead and put the money aside and go from there. Yeah, anyway, I just wanted to tell you about how good they are. If you ever get into Fargo, North Dakota, and need a great job done at a reasonable price, NBS Garage. That's N as in naughty, N as in naughty, B as in boy, and S as in sitting. But, yeah, I know most people wouldn't go because, I'm so far away, but if you're in the Fargo-Moorhead area, NBS Garage, good job at a fair price. And I guarantee they're honest as all can be. There was stuff that the garage that I'd gone to before, I don't know if I want to go back. You remember a while back I was telling you about, maybe I didn't tell this story, but when I went under Silverado 708, I may have told this story. But I haven't actually put a video up there in several months. I'm unable to. YouTube won't let me. That's a whole new backstory that I'm not going to get into. Not now. But anyway, I was told the anti-lock brake module was shot. or it was bad enough to where it was failing some of the times. Took it in here, and the guy comes up and goes, no, we did a thorough inspection on the vehicle. And I'd mentioned to him before it got towed in about this module. He said what the problem was on the module was your driver's side wheel bearing. It was actually pretty loose on the top side of the wheel bearing, which was causing it to drop down a little and just kind of hang there. He said it wasn't enough to where there was a lot of gap, but he says there was a gap, like when you look at the wheel bearing, it dropped down just enough to where he says that gap shouldn't have been there. He said that was bad news. He says nothing was tight like it should be. Everything was just sloppy as can be. So yeah, he says with that hanging down the way it was actually on the wheel bearing. There's a wire that comes off of it for the sensors and that hook up to the brake lines and that, whatever it is, computer system, whatnot. He says it was pinching stuff, sending signals to your computer system, showing that that part was failing when it wasn't. And it's all because wires were getting pinched up in there. He said, I don't know where or how, but according to him, they were janky. So we got that taken care of. He asked ahead of time, he says, do you want your anti-lock brakes working, or do you want us to disconnect it and you're able to lock up your brakes when you want to? I said, disconnect it. So I don't like anti-lock brake systems. I said, I like them, but not well enough to want to keep it. So they went ahead and pulled the fuse for the anti-lock brake system, disconnected it. So right now, my Explorer has anti-lock brakes, but they're non-functional. Whenever I want, I can actually lock up them brakes as though it was a 79 Park Avenue. Any vehicle you want to mention, really, with built before the old ABS crap, can lock up them brakes tighter than can be, which I like. Anyway, said I was going to keep this video short, and it's been 13 minutes pretty much. So yeah, NBS Garage, Fargo, North Dakota, 1700 First Avenue, North Fargo, y'all. If you ever get in the area or you live in the area, they come highly recommended. And if you ever want lift kit systems put in your vehicle, they'll do it. If you want, let's just say you got a vehicle and the frame's all tore up because it's rust and salt. You know how that gets to it, and it starts getting to the point where you're gonna, it's dangerous because the frame is just too bad off on being rusted out. They will actually take and lift off the vehicle off the frame. You want a different frame, I'm sure they'll just get you a different one, roll it under, drop it down, take your old frame and recycle it. I've seen them with a van, and they got pictures where they actually take a creeper van, the ones that you always see with free candy, I lost my puppy, where they take the body right off the frame and they're doing work under there. They got it on their website. If you want to look at their website, just go to type in NBS Garage, and you can actually scroll through on Google on their website and see the different services they do. It's if you're like West Coast, East Coast, Europe, wherever you're at. If you ever want to see different services they provide, see what the two guys look like, their pictures up on there and what they look like. All kinds of stuff, phone numbers. If you want to email them, call them up, whatever, and talk to them and ask questions, go for it. They'll do all kinds of good stuff for you. Stuff that most garages won't do. Anyway, see you around.